Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Joe. Today we have a much anticipated range review of the Ruger RXM. Let's check it out. But wait, before you start to watch this awesome video, I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, the ugly about the Ruger RXM. Please make sure you are smashing the subscribe button. We're trying to get as many subscribers as we possibly can here on YouTube, or if you're watching on a greener platform, please hit the follow button, like the video, and share it with your friends. And for the people that are watching this video that are determining whether this is going to get pushed or not, please do me a favor and realize that we were on a safe range. Our eyes and ears were on at all times. A RSO was on duty during the shooting portion of this, and there is no ammunition in the gun, there's no ammunition in the magazine, so we'd appreciate it if you would be cool with us. All right, let's get into this video. Guys, the Ruger RXM, I feel, has been taking the internet by storm. And before we even get into it, first of all, my name is Joe. You're watching Shooting Guy. We appreciate you watching today. And again, we can't thank you guys enough for all the support. I just want to make that perfectly clear. I did not have this gun sent to me. I actually purchased this with my own money. I did a little bit of horse trading a while back. When this is the first gun I've bought in a while that I went ahead and found a way to get it when it first got released. This thing got released in like December of 2024, and I had it February-ish, like late January, early February of 2025. So I got it pretty early on. I have a lot of things that I have issues with this gun, but I will say this is one of my favorite guns I've actually been shooting over the past, year or so. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's get into the specs of the Ruger RXM. The specs on the RXM are as follows. It is a 9mm striker fire handgun. It is running off of a fire control insert, much like your Springfield Echelon or your SIG P365 320. It's a fire control unit. It has an enhanced Magpul grip module, and it is run off mostly Gen 3 parts. You can pop a Gen 3 slide on the RXM, it's going to work just fine. It comes with a set of high-vis front sight, blacked out rear co-witness sights, so you're able to co-witness with your optic. It has a modular optic system, so this gun is able to take a RMR, it's able to take a doctor cut, and I believe it's also able to take a RMSC. So you're able to use a wide variety of optics using the addition of the 4 location pins that comes in this gun. But another good thing about this gun with the specs, it's based off a Gen 3 Glock. So you're gonna get Glock type trigger pulls. They're saying it's about a 6-pound trigger pull. But yeah, 9mm comes with one 15-round PMag. One mag? I don't know. But those are the specs, the generalized specs of the Ruger RXM. As we're handling this gun, I do want to make sure this is perfectly clear. This gun is been safety checked. There's nothing in the chamber and there's nothing in the magazine. So I've been shooting this. This thing has about 350 rounds through it. This is outfitted right now with the Gideon Optics Storm. This is their Doctor footprint, so this would go on, say, anything like a not Doctor, but a Delta Point Pro footprint. So your Delta Point Pro or your Sig Romeo 1, wouldn't recommend it. That style of footprint. The Gideon Optics Storm, this thing is badass. It is a large window, green dot. I have a full review coming out after this video will be published. And I'm also running a Streamlight TRL1HL. And I did have a, for the suppressor version, this is part of my gripe. I do use a True Max threaded barrel, so I can add my whisper stick. So, I will say, shooting this handgun, it's very Glock-like. Now, I know there's a few videos out there so far on the Ruger RXM, and some are positive, some are, you know, just things people are finding small issues with. Right off the bat, when I first got this gun, I traded my 365X for this, and traded with a shop down here in the Sarasota area straight up for it. I will say, the case it comes with, it's a collaboration between Ruger and Magpul. So, okay, cool. It gives a lot to interpretation. I like the fact that it comes in a hard case. Mine only came with one mag. All right, that's off the bat. Dude, throw at least, it's got to be at least 3. If you, I know there's some people who say you need to have at least 5 mags in it. No, send it with 3 mags, all right? One thing I didn't like about it before I even shot it, so I've heard this from 3 other people. The Ruger RXM, when you pick it up brand new, I bought this brand new, it was not used, I bought it from a dealer. And I asked the dealer this, I was like, was this gun shot? And he said, no, came brand new from a distributor or direct from Ruger, wherever. So my buddy Richard Hughes, Flying Rich over on YouTube, or Flying Rich Firearms, he's got a couple channels. He got an RXM, and when he got it, it looked like it was ran through the ringer. So I opened it up, I took the slide off, and it easily had about a couple hundred rounds on the gun. So I called Ruger, he called Ruger, I got confirmation from another buddy that when he opened it up, I believe it was DLD After Dark, also confirmed it. He opened up the slide and it was shot. Like, it was clearly, you can tell when there's about a couple hundred rounds through it. Now, I do have a theory, and I'll get into that in a second, but so I ended up calling Ruger and I asked, I was like, hey, I just bought this RXM. It looks like it has 200 rounds through it, brand new. And they're saying it is the ammo they're using is quite dirty ammo. Now, here's where I say I have a theory. It is a fire control insert, fire control unit. It's an FCU type 9mm pistol. They did not want what is happening to the P320 to happen to Ruger. That is the biggest stain on a lot of fire control unit type based guns. They did not. I'll bet you every gun that leaves that Ruger factory, they are test fired easily 100 to 200 rounds, and they are vigorously tested. That is my only theory. I have not had that confirmed, but I can see with this potentially being the predecessor to a Gen 6 Glock, Ruger would not want a drop test issue with the Ruger RXM. So shooting the Ruger RXM, I will say the fit and finish, it feels pretty nice. I would recommend, if you could, and the good part about this being a modular handgun is you can get different grip modules. Okay, we're getting that later on. This is one of my largest gripes about this pistol. The undercut, I have very large hands, so even with a regular Gen 3, you can get Glock neck a little bit. If you want to send it to, like, say, like Liberty Bell Firearms, don't forget, use code JOJUICE, 20% off. You could probably get that undercut enhanced a little bit more. I haven't noticed it too bad, but it was just a theory I had. The stippling on this is much better than a traditional Glock. The stippling does its job. You do have some accelerator cuts and ledges here that do not affect any holsters, which we're going to get into also in this video. Shooting it, it's a very accurate pistol. I have shot it without an optic and with an optic. We did a video comparing it to the Ruger P85, and I shot this very well. I'm so used to the Ruger P85, so I tend to shoot that gun a little bit better. Plus, it is a heavier gun, all-metal gun. But I really enjoyed it. Walter from Safety Harbor Firearm shot this gun. He really liked it. It shoots like a Glock. Takes Glock mags, which is awesome. I've shot regular Glock mags. I've shot P mags, KCI, Amend 2, and I've also tried ETS. And surprisingly, the ETS worked. I wouldn't recommend using ETS for like self-defense, but you know, if you're just looking to go to the range, they're like $7-8. You know, it's worth investing a couple mags just for like range mags. I know they have new steel line mags as well, but you know, check out ETS. I don't have any affiliation with them. Even with Ruger, I have no affiliation with Ruger. I have tried to get Ruger on the Shooting Woods podcast, and it's pissing up a rope. But let's get into some shooting footage, and then we're gonna get into a couple other things. Later on in the video, we're gonna go over the good, bad, and the ugly of this pistol. So from the shooting footage, I will say that it is a very accurate gun. Probably one of my favorite guns I've shot this year. Just hold it with the integrated mag well it has. It's just the stippling and just the fit, the feel. You're shooting a Glock. I'm very used to shooting Glocks, so I get Glock accuracy out of it, but the weight balance I notice. So when I press out, especially when I have the weapon light on there and with the weight of the optic, it balances very well. And the accelerator cuts that are built into this grip module, they work for me. I really enjoy it, and it has a little bit more of an extended mag release too, so you know, I'm aware of it, but it's able to, you hit it and the mag drops. I'm gonna get the target right now so you can see the accuracy of it. When it comes to the accuracy of it, I will say, again, I'm shooting at about 10-15 yards. This is the accuracy. So the center target, I was looking to kind of just sight in the optic. It didn't really take that much. Over here, this is my suppressed target. Didn't have like a point of impact shift or point of aim, point of impact. It performed very well suppressing. I was shooting 115 grain Blazer brass, and then I also, which we're gonna roll through right about now, I always like to shoot potential carry guns with my preferred carry ammo, which is black belt ammunition, 130 grain hollow point. It's a spicy round, but here's the thing: the RXM took it. That ammunition has never had a hiccup in any gun I've ever shot it through. I've shot it through M&Ps, I've shot it through 365s, multiple Glock clones, Glock like OEM Glocks, the RXM, my PCC, like it's phenomenal. All right, absolutely phenomenal. Highly recommend it. But the accuracy of that, it went a little bit lower because it was, you know, 130 grain, mine, you know, to a 115 grain pill. It's gonna have some accuracy. It went a little bit low and right, but that just could be me also compensating. Again, very accurate. So that is the accuracy potential of the Ruger RXM at about 10-15 yards. I want to get into suppressing a Ruger RXM. So there is two models out right now for the Ruger RXM. There is the standard Ruger RXM, which is this model right here, and then for $79 more, you can get the tactical or the threaded barrel model of the Ruger RXM. what I have seen on the internet, I personally would like to have OEM threaded barrels. So I went on shopruger.com. They do not sell a factory threaded barrel for a Ruger RXM. So since this comes apart just like a Glock, it's actually pretty nice, and I'm able to swap barrels around pretty easily. Now, why would you introduce a 9mm handgun onto the market that is a Glock compatible, and you do not introduce it with a threaded barrel? We waited months for that threaded barrel to get introduced, and it's a factory model, so you'd have to buy a whole other RXM just to get the factory threaded barrel. I call BS on that. I don't agree with that. In the world where everybody's getting into suppressors or compensators, you can make a rolling special out of it, what have you. They don't add it, like, it's okay, it's a $70 upcharge, so they're MSRP'd for about 400 Republic credits, $79. I think it gets you a little bit over 500 Republic credits. Now, in this video, you're going to see in the shooting footage here that I've been using the, almost had a little faux pas there, so you know, we don't need that happening for, you know, the overlords that watch this channel. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, guys. We almost had a small issue here. We can't actually show whisper sticks being installed because of certain YouTube guidelines, and we have to follow those in order to keep this channel thriving. So I've been running my Silencer Co. Osprey 2.0. This is a pretty decent can, and I will say the RXM was able to be suppressed. Now, I wish, again, a big issue I have is that this gun was not released with a threaded barrel off the bat. But it suppresses very well. You saw it from the footage. There's really no issue with it, which I enjoy it. Yeah, it suppresses well. Obviously, depending on the suppressor, you might need to get different attachment styles to make sure it runs, because it's a tilting barrel. You might need some type of Nielsen device or a piston system in order for a pistol to actually work. So, or a booster, there's so many different terminologies. Just make sure you have the right attachment style, because this is a Glock, but I just have the Silencer Co. piston in here, and it works very well. The factory threaded barrel is threaded 1/2x28, which I will give to Ruger. You do have a industry standard thread on the Ruger RXM threaded barrel model. Now, one good thing about the Ruger RXM is that since it is based off a Gen 3 Glock, it actually is compatible with most Gen 3 Glock holsters. So I have a couple here. I have the one that I've been carrying the most with, which is the Hidden Hybrid appendix holster. So this is actually built for the Ruger RXM, but it works for a Glock 19 as well. So Ruger RXM, there you go. There you go, no issue. All right. Now, this is a North Coast Tactical Tuck holster. This is actually the predecessor to the Fat Tac Premium holster, which you can check out Fat Tac. They hold all of our merch, so if you want to get a t-shirt or a hat or something like that from the channel, check it out. It helps support us. So this is a Kydex, full Kydex holster. So we're going to put that in. Boom, there you go. Again, make sure when you get a holster that is cut, depending if you're going to run an optic. Most holsters now are cutting for optics because it's such a popular thing. If you want a weapon light on your holster as well, that will work. Just make sure you tell the holster maker, hey, I got this weapon light, and it will work for that. So yeah, North Coast Tactical, regular Kydex holster, sweet. Now, this was the level 2 retention holster I used when I did armed security for a little bit. I remember those days. That was not a fun time. Hated that job. But this is the Ruger RXM going into a Chi-Tac, or CY Tac. I got it off Amazon, and I literally use this every day for a year. Okay, boom, works out. No, hold on. You got to push this in just a little bit because this is kind of like a cheap holster. But now that it's clicked in, push the button, comes right out. I did have to modify this in order for me to run this with an optic on any Glock pattern, but this works perfect. So most of your Glock compatible holsters will work. Make sure you have it cut for a red dot if you are running a red dot, and if you're running a light, just tell the holster maker, hey, I have this light. 9 times out of 10, if it's in a streamlight variety, or if you are like, you know, flexing on the pores and you're running a mod light or a Surefire X300, just tell them. Most of the time you'll probably get a holster cut for it. All right, so let's wrap this up pros and cons style. Okay, we're gonna go with the good things I like about it, and we're gonna go with the bad things I like about it. Now, well, not bad things I like, it's just the bad things I've noticed with the gun. Good one being a Glock pattern magazine. That's awesome. I have a crap load of Glock mags. All right, it's based off a Glock 19. I have shot Glock 19s for years. I've carried Glock 19 exclusively. Most of my carry guns were based on Glock 19s. It has Gen 3 compatibility, so if you want to have like a Marconi Armory slide, a Stifler Manufacturing slide, which you can use code JOJU's, code Shooting Gallery for 10%, Stifler Manufacturing. If you have an OEM Glock 19 slide, you want to run it because you'd like the grip panel of the grip texture of the Magpul grip, awesome. Aftermarket support, since it's being a Gen 3 on the slide side, you can get any barrel or whatever you want. You can get any slide you want. It works with that. The only thing right now, triggers are the one thing I haven't noticed. Not really. A lot of people have been using upgraded triggers for the Ruger RXM. Grip panels, or grip modules, whatever that you want to call it. Now, this is going to go into one gripe. Magpul said when they released this gun within the summer of its release that they would release a full-size grip. So instead of a Glock 19, you can run more of a Glock 45, where it is a full-size grip module and you take Glock 17 mags. What did they do? They went ahead and released the subcompact, which is the Glock 26 frame. The only people that carry Glock 26 guns are new gun owners or retired LEOs that they just want a small Glock because they've run Glocks their entire career, and they tell their family members to get a Glock 26. It is a very outdated form of Glock. I am not a fan of the Glock 26, so I would not buy that. There is a couple other companies though, which are, you know, it's Magpul is kind of like screwing the pooch on that. The amount of grip modules that will be sold in the full-size configuration for this gun, they won't be able to keep them in stock, but they haven't released them yet. It's kind of one thing that has bothered me with the RXM. But you can, if you want to actually pay a premium, you can go through companies like Mischief Machine or Icarus Precision. They have a grip module out for the Ruger RXM. They're about just as much money for the whole gun as it is for just the grip module. The Magpul said they were going to come in around like $40. A Icarus Precision grip module, especially in the full-size configuration, I think is around $400. So the amount of money you spend on a grip module from Icarus, you could buy a whole other gun. I've never really shot an Icarus Precision grip module, so I know some people that run them and they love them. I've handled one. I've never actually shot a gun with one on them, so I can't really tell you that. I love the optic system. The optic system, as I feel, should be the industry standard now, where you, instead of just cutting for an RMR, cutting for a Delta Point Pro or whatever, have it a modular system. It took a lot of likeness from the Springfield Echelon. It has the same mounting system. Give us location pins and give us at least a variety of optics. It helps the end user, it helps the gunsmith that has to help the customer at the shop trying to find an optic. You have a variety of price ranges as well, so you don't have to pay the $700 mark of a Delta Point Pro or an RMR. You can run a Gideon Optics like I have on here. You can run Vortex, you can run Holosun, Swamp Fox. You have a wide variety of optics abilities for this gun. A lot of people are starting to get into optics. Also, It is Glock sight compatible, so if you do not want the high vis front sight in the front and you want all blacked out, you can pick up stuff from like Angry Bear Arms or Ameriglow to get the blacked out co-witness. I don't really co-witness. I like the fact that I have it here, but I'm gonna use my dog. Again, 9mm, it shoots really well. I really enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, it actually is going into my carry rotation. It's kind of gonna be replacing my PSA dagger. Now I like this gun. I do. I do. I'm gonna get into what I don't like about it. Magpul did not release the full-size grip module for the Ruger RXM. A lot of people I know bought this gun for that reason. I do not want to have to pay 400 Republic credits more just to get a metal frame gun. And have you ever seen Mischief Machine or Icarus Precision, their backlog? You're going to be waiting at least a month for it. I know for a fact they run backlogs all the time because they're so popular. I don't like the fact that when I bought a brand new gun, it looked like it had about 200 rounds through it. They said it's only been test fired 10 times. I've been a gunsmith for 5 years, guys. I have seen guns that are brand new, and I've seen guns that have a couple hundred rounds through them, and this had a couple hundred rounds through it. The trigger, I don't hate the trigger. I think it's better than a standard Glock because it doesn't have the typical wall. So again, there's nothing in the chamber in this gun, and the magazine's empty. So you're gonna get, make sure that focuses here. Come on, there we go. All right. So you're gonna get that take up, you're gonna get this little bit of a wall, and you push through the brake. Reset. There. Brake. Now, I've shot hundreds of Glocks. This is a better stock trigger than a Glock. I wouldn't say it's a Canic trigger, and I would tend to say the Canic line of pistols have the best stock trigger in the game for any type of use. This is a close second to the Canic. Again, it's a little bit better than a OEM Glock 19, but it is what it is. If they ever come out with an upgraded trigger, like if Johnny Glocks comes out with a flat face trigger for this, and this kind of has a combat flat face, it's not a full flat, it's more of a curved, and which I like. I just wish the brake was a little bit lighter. But I'm very critical of triggers. I'm not saying it's the best, it's not the worst, it's better than an OEM Glock, which I will say it's a positive. Another thing that really bothered me about the RXM is that, again, with Magpul not doing that, and they're saying the MSRP is about 400 to 425 MSRP. You're gonna see them street price under 400 at like 395. I'm gonna leave some links in. If you check out any of the links in my affiliates page, you can find them under 400 all over the place. If you're watching this on the Green platform, I will have them in the description. But yeah, other than that, guys, I would say that the positives outweigh the negatives. The negatives are just very irritating as a consumer. It was hyped up to be the next like modular pistol. I jokingly said it's the predecessor to the Glock Gen 6, but I just feel that if Magpul wanted to just kind of keep the momentum, my biggest thing is I wish they released the full-size grip module on this. But that's just me. If you guys do want to get different information, not just from me, I only have a sample size of one. My buddy Mark from Fit and Fire actually just posted, ironically, I was watching it today before I even filmed this because I already had the shooting footage done. I'm doing some editing, and RXM video pops up. He was a little bit more critical of the RXM than I am. He doesn't care for the trigger at all. He said it was a poor draw out or a poor layout of the RXM. I don't think so. I just think the biggest thing is they screwed up by not releasing the full-size grip module yet. And also the fact that it doesn't come with a factory threaded barrel for that price. And you can't even buy a factory threaded barrel for a Ruger RXM from Ruger. That also is quite irritating when I do run suppress on a lot of my pistols when I'm at the range, just trying to be, doing my thing and being polite, because that's one of the good things about having a suppressor. You don't have to be shooting a loud gun to new shooters and making them a little bit standoffish at a public gun range. You can put a suppressor on it, quiets it up, and it's a good time. So let's go ahead with my final thoughts. Final thoughts, guys. I will recommend the Ruger RXM. My gripes with it are more with Ruger as a company. The gun itself, I thoroughly love shooting. This actually has replaced my everyday carry. I am confident enough in it. And with the Gideon Optic Storm, which I feel is a very, very well-made optic, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a green dot, so it helps out with astigmatism, and it fits properly in the hidden hybrid holsters appendix carry gun, rig. This thing is just, it's awesome, and it's very, very comfortable. It fits in most Glock 19 holsters, but I've been really liking the hidden hybrid, so shout out to hidden hybrid. I have a link in my affiliates page. But yeah, Ruger RXM, it's my new carry gun. Hopefully Ruger and Magpul can kind of get their heads out of their rear ends and actually release products that consumers want for this gun, being the full size grip module. And I really would like to see them sell an affordable factory Ruger threaded barrel for the RXM. That's just a stickling point for me. Maybe, you know, someone's going to come out with an upgraded trigger for it. When they do come out with the full circuit grip module, I'm going to swap it out, and it'll probably be like my favorite gun of all time. But guys, check out the Ruger RXM. There's a bunch of companies that always have sales, and if you can save 10% off at certain places, check it out. It's well worth the investment with the optic system, with the compatibility of Glock Gen 3 parts, the holster compatibility. It's ready to go out the box. If you like this video, please do me a favor and smash the like button. Comment down below if you have a Ruger RXM and you have a different opinion than me, or if you have a Ruger RXM, you want to agree with me, or you find something that I didn't cover in this video. Go ahead, comment that in the comment section down below. We really appreciate it. As always, stay safe, stay shooting, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.